afternoon, and welcome to yet another midday snack coming to you live streaming here on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and other places. Brought to you by Friday AI from the Friday AI studios here in Atlanta, Georgia. So I was thinking because I get inundated by these messages that I'm gonna do, probably do with these god awful wannabe and um and it's just god awful. And so it's been rather frustrating to say the least for myself. So I wanted to talk about and take this time, if you're in the break room or having some moments to yourself, broadly speaking, about personalized video, because I do believe the video does a fantastic job when used correctly. I think there's no better way to be remotely personal. If you can't be right there in the same room, or on a live call, or even over the phone for that interaction, it's about as close as you can get, but it's like third place overall, right? But it does beat text messaging and things like that when used appropriately and when targeted correctly, right? I would argue that dropping out of the blue is not the way to do it. So this is kind of the way things are being done, what I'm describing right now, which is driving me crazy. How many of you guys are experiencing this? Are you getting these? Like, so here's an example, right? And it's like too many of them are like this. Like, I've got my arm out and it's clearly like I'm holding the camera away from myself. And like some of these are in like weird locations, like they're walking around some street, you know, um, or on a beach or something like that. And there's like all kinds of crap going on behind them. It has nothing to do with whatever their message is supposed to be. Um, and it's distracting and I mean, it comes off maybe, and they're anticipating that it's coming off as being like in the moment and therefore somewhat thoughtful or something like that. It doesn't land that way with me. It just doesn't work for me that way. Um, so I don't care for that particularly. But also backing up to this little paper sign that people use. I've seen it, and it's probably growing now. But artificial intelligence is able to put any name they want to, in a programmatic fashion, into a generic video, so that the thumbnail, or at least the first few frames, 5 seconds of a video, can have your name appear as if it was handwritten on a piece of paper. Maybe it was green screen or something like that. There's various ways to do it, and it's not that personal. Notice, if you receive these, how little, or if they ever actually call you by name verbally. That's a good tell. Or they use very generic language, right? So, like in this case, I'll use a text message example. They, you can tell that it's programmatic. You can tell that it's automated many times because of how they address you. Not nearly as informal as a video would presume to be. Or if I spoke to you in person, I wouldn't call you by your first name, or your whole name rather. I wouldn't call you by your full name. I certainly wouldn't call you just by your last name, and that can go sometimes wrong when the CRM doesn't mate up correctly with whatever their export is. So it's like, "Hi, freeze," like we're in the military, we're on the same football team. "Did you miss my last message?" No context. Again, this happens all the time. And you can tell that it's automated because it'll be some cycle, 48 hours later, hey, did you not get the message I sent you earlier in the week? And it's like, about what? What if I didn't watch the video? Clearly I didn't respond. Let me know why I should have seen it. But these automated, methods don't do a very good job of that because it's not contextualized. It's not going to speak directly to me. And it's an avalanche of these outbound messages. My favorite version of this, because it's so awful, is LinkedIn. Once somebody will request to be a contact or follow you or something like that, or they have a message request they want to send over. You go through those and you look, see, is this somebody? And it's like, I don't know, very, very frequently it uses very obtuse language, like in this example here. And I'll use the full name here. Hi, Ryan Freeze. I've helped a lot of people in your vertical or in your space. And I know that my group, XYZ, lead corporation, a lot of lead companies are doing this, can drum up a lot of business for you, just like I have others, like no names, no testimonials, no, case studies, no links to where you can actually see it in action for your space, because they don't give a shit about your space. It's not about your space. They don't care about the insurance vertical specific to what you're doing. They see that you're an insurance agent or an insurance broker of some sort, and they just flood you with this crap. And it could be that you're in a very specific, niche, D&O, E&O coverage, and they only serve up, small commercial or personal line stuff that's unrelated to that. They're not paying attention to that stuff. And it lands on me terribly. I don't respond and I don't accept these unsolicited attempts to supposedly link up and, you can tell it's like a form filler, a copy and paste situation. That's horrible, horrible. I can't, just rubs me the wrong way, and it's lazy. And you can do it in a much better fashion. You can take the time. And so, it leaves you scratching your head, just like, are these people serious? I mean, supposedly they want to have, some connection with you, but the ball is entirely in your court, right? When they send the stuff over, it's completely up to you now to take the ball and run with it. You're going to have to fill in the blanks. Oh, I saw you reached out to me, Greg, and said that you could do for me what you did for my competitors, unnamed. And then it becomes some kind of like questionnaire. Oh, yeah, right. That's right. What is it that you do? I thought you would know. You've tried reaching out to me. And especially in today's day and age, like it's particularly on LinkedIn, your whole resume, all of your activities, all your previous activities, the current company and product line and services that you perform are right there in front of everybody. And they don't take the time, so it's like you're not garnering any business that way. I think this is getting tired and is fizzling out. At least I'm hoping so. And if I have anything to do with it and can assist you guys, I want that to be ushered out. Let's move that out purposefully. So this is like upsetting to me in a lot of different ways, but in particular, I know that there's better ways to do it, and I've spent some time looking for tools and tactics and methods, put them to use across my business and several insurance agents that I have consulted over the years in real life, and have come to some conclusions that I know drop dead do work, at least much more effectively than that. And we'll talk a little bit about that when we get back from the break real quick. But I want to talk specifically about the use case of actually having a high performance personalized, video messaging approach, because it does work. And I don't want you to be fatigued by these incoming messages that look and feel phony, because they are, or certainly aren't personalized. They don't seem to care about you, and then become sour on the idea or of the technology or what it could do, and think that that's the limitations as to what these things can do, because it certainly isn't. And so let's talk about that as soon as we get back here. Today's sponsor of Midday Snack is Friday at heyfriday.ai. Hey Friday gives you the best AI-assisted text creation tool on the market today. You can choose from one of their 40 templates that walks you through various ways to arrive at the best outcome that you're looking for, whether it's a tweet, an email, or a listicle or a full blog post. It's all very easy inside of Friday's dashboard and interface. All you do is enter in a few details and then provide whatever the questions are they give, and then you give them the answers, and it'll go ahead and do all the work for you. And then you arrive at a great outcome to where you have a professionally written and ready to go piece, whether it could be a YouTube title for a video, it can be a listicle, it can be a long or short post, anything that you're looking for. And it gives you the bones to create what you're looking for and then interweave some of the stuff that's specific to your brand. So you tweak and change whatever it is that they've come up with at the end of their outcome. If it's something that you need to change around your specific needs, whether it's your brand name, the product name, or the way that you sound, look, and feel, that's always available to you, and you can redo it as many times as you want. So check out Friday today, heyfriday.ai, and start your free trial today. So let's get into properly managing personalized video, outbound video messaging, video content in particular that can stand in proxy of you being in front of a client or a prospective client, and ways that I've used it and have advised and refined the use of these things for other businesses in our space, in our vertical, in the insurance business. With great results. All right. So I want to back up and talk first and foremost that there's just no duplicate for doing the work. All right. So as well as automation can stand in and do some things for us, and there's a great many things that it can do at scale. The baseline of what you want to scale has to be some heavy lifting. You have to actually do something thoughtful, deliberate. You can't replace doing the work, at least initially. And so what does that look like? So again, I spoke yesterday about this. I have a whole seminar about this, in particular, like getting to know your particular clients and what buckets they fall into, what personas they represent, so you can speak to them how they need to be spoken to, deliver the right message at the right time, and the method that they want to receive it. Okay. So let's back up and say that you've done that. You've got specific personas, personalities, identities that you want to communicate with. We're not going to go through all that today. We're just going to say that you've already done all that stuff and you know the message that you want to hit these people with. Okay. So we're going to target, these individual groups of people that have like mind, like position, and like readiness when it comes to doing whatever it is we're going to be looking to do. Because at the end of the day, even if it's a sold client, if it's not a prospective client, even if it's an existing client, you're sending out messaging to get them to do something. You want to influence them to perform some action, whatever it happens to be. Share the information with someone else, put you in touch with somebody as a reference or a referral so that you can garner new business, upsell them on a new policy, rearrange their current portfolio, whatever. So you want to be sure that you position messaging in front of them at the right time, the way they want to hear it in that way, so that at the end of it, you engage them into performing some sort of activity. Okay. So these groups are like-minded, like positioned, like readiness. So the messaging, albeit we want to be as personalized as can be and as natural as can be, a lot of the information is duplicated. A lot of it, because there's only so many ways to discuss what it is that you're offering, right? Let's say we're a coffee house, and let's not talk about insurance for just a moment. There's only so many revisions and methods and ways and like verbiage that can be used to talk about ground coffee beans, artisanal espresso, from the jungles of Colombia, the freshest roasts, and all this other stuff. Like, much of that is duplicable. And that's good. That's fine, because at the heart of what you do, your insurance brokerage or company is going to have a core of what your offerings are, how you perform those transactions, what your value add is, and why you should be selected against your competitors, because we all have competitors. So what that looks like is taking some time to identify something about your target that you're wanting to interact with, to actually demonstrate to them that you know who they are and why you're reaching out to them. So this little, hinky piece of paper, get rid of that. Like, actually reach out. You Much of it you can't actually replace some of the text, whether it's embodied in an email or a text message or something like that. But use that very short amount of time that you have to call their attention to be sure to let them know that you know who they are. And it can be as simple as if you want to do this at scale with a CRM or something like that, or even with an Excel spreadsheet, for crying out loud. You could even do it this way. You have, columns that, say, customer name, email, or contact information, however you want to reach out to them, and then a personalized introduction. And you could just go down the line if you have to and talk about something that is pertinent, timely, specific to that individual to get them interested and to recognize the difference of what I described earlier here, where I feel like it's very generic. It's obvious you didn't do your homework. It's obvious you didn't actually care, and you're trying to earn my business, my attention, my time. That's not going to happen. Not going to happen for me. Shouldn't happen for a lot of people, to be fair. So do the work. Take the time. At least that upfront work. It sounds like a lot, but actually, it's not as much as it may appear, because you're only working with, in a text message, maybe 3 sentences total. And in an email, it's very similar. You're going to have a body to the email, but like the introduction to the email at the very top of it, they're going to read for like 6, 7 seconds. And if you haven't gotten them at that point, they're going to click out of the email. Everybody's receiving so many inbound solicitations. We don't have time to scour through them all, right? So take the time, do the work, identify who it is that you're going to target. So let's talk about a few examples, because that sounds pie in the sky, and maybe you don't know what that would look like. So I'm going to go through my database and be very, very specific. All right, I've identified people that I think are in position to upgrade or upsell into broader policy portfolio, or increased protection. And so in my CRM, or inside my agency management system, I'm trying to capture behavior as well, which is beyond the video stuff. We can get into that later. But behaviors and conditions, which are going to indicate to me things that are happening in my clients' lives. Okay. So it could be, I want to have, the household's information as much as I can get that's pertinent to managing this customer's policy and their policy life cycle in my database. So that would be children, even if they're not of age to perform driving, for instance, on a auto policy. I still want to have them in there. Birth dates are important. Anniversary dates are important. Not only, of course, sending out something is, and we're going to drill down to get more specific here. But if you have somebody's birthday, you can obviously send them out a happy birthday. A lot of people get that. I get that from an orthodontist that I haven't seen in 15 years. Still comes into my email. So that's a start, and it's better than this. Hey, I thought you might be interested in talking to me about business, because it's somewhat contextual. But you can also leverage that when it comes to relationships of theirs, if you have this information and readily available to you, that build up a campaign that targets people that their children have just turned 16, ready to drive a car, right? That's much more specific. And perceptively, it seems to take some time to perform the math and identify why 16 years old might be of value, right? So, and the first few lines, it can be, hell, how time flies. I can't believe Greta is already 16 years old. Has she thought about driving a car or driving the family car? Are you interested in buying, or is she going to receive a car, right? Anything like that. And now there's some sort of like impulse to respond. You're talking to me about my child, about something that's actually happening in my household. I might be, at that point go, maybe you've made me think about this. It could also be 18 or 19 years old. Contextualize that with your local, if you're a local agency and serve a local community, more so than, something larger than that, a statewide or national scale. And 18 and 19-year-old kids, you could send out, graduation indications like, hey, summer's almost here. Recognize when the dates of your local high schools are going to be graduating. Put that inside of the sentence and say, oh, Greta's already looking like she's going to be graduating this year. That's amazing. Congratulations. Maybe include something that's, valuable to an 18-year-old, 19-year-old graduate, high school graduate, or something like that. And again, this isn't gimmicky. Like, I know that the way I'm describing it, for it to be at scale, basically everything at scale feels like a little bit of a gimmick, but like the thought behind building these messages, treat it as though you're speaking directly to an individual client, somebody that you care about, so that you craft the message in a way that exemplifies that, that reflects that. And then when everybody receives it, then they're going to feel like you did it just for them. That's the goal. That's the entire goal. Now, what I'm talking about so far is just, broadcast marketing or broadcast messaging on a personalized basis. We're not even talking about the video part yet, right? This is just fundamental and basic to keep you from doing what a lot of people, and you know what, for good exercise, go through your LinkedIn inbox and take a look at some of this stuff so you can see what not to do, because a lot of people are doing it the other way with the copy paste method, where it doesn't say anything specific to you or about any relationships you have, any milestones or activities that have happened in your life. You've got posts out there, you share stuff on social media. Perhaps you just recently got some sort of a certificate. Maybe you just got, your full agency's license or full agent's license, and you were working on a limited agent's license before. Certain, landmarks and stuff like this that have just recently happened, nobody's spending the time to try to interact with you in a way that seems to be valuable, like your activities are interesting and important. um so anyway, so that's the fundamental starting point, is to try to do the work, spend the time, be very, very specific with who you're going to target, so you can craft a message that specifically talks to them in a way like you're talking to a one-on-one person. Okay, that's first and foremost. Now, secondly, as I said, I think video is more intimate, more engaging, and better than text. However, to break the ice, I would go with a hook, like I just described, a valuable introduction with text, and then embed a call to action. It could be a link or an actual video itself. Now let's talk about the video stuff. Okay. Like I said earlier, much of what you're going to talk about is repeatable, right? It is reusable, because all of the things that you offer, how you're going to assist these individual groups, is not probably so unlike any other group, right? You only have such a roster of offerings. Now, they might specifically scale or tailor based on, economic needs. If you're in, like, wealth management and that sort of thing, certainly somebody of a certain ilk, with, how much they manage and possess when it comes to wealth, could be different than your entry level investor, or, a fleet insurance policy compared to an individual's insurance policy and stuff. You can get in the weeds on that if you want to, and that just refines the message that much more. Just be sure that when you're doing this, that as you go through the database or your list of clients or prospective clients, that when you add these things, think of them as filters that are, sifting out everybody that doesn't fit these criterion, that the audience doesn't become too small, right? There's a fine line there, but you want to, make sure that it's specific, like we said. So, any case, you're an insurance agency, let's say, for this example, you have 4 or 5 lines of insurance that lines of business that you offer. Let's say you're predominantly in the PNC space, and you're, heavy on personal auto, homeowners, condo, and that sort of stuff, personal effects, maybe some umbrella stuff. Probably have a little bit of artisan and small commercial, small business stuff, but it doesn't make up the bulk of your business. All right, let's say this is your profile. This is XYZ Insurance Agency. Okay, so if I'm trying to get somebody to, maybe a book roll to move from an existing market that I placed it with, and put it with something that's better for them, better coverage, better claims, better persistency, better aftercare, perhaps, better earn out for myself, because maybe the first carrier I placed it with was good for the first 3 years, and then introduced a whole new commission, schedule, like they do. And it's not 15% anymore. They cut it to 5 on renewal, let's say. Then you could now we're talking. Now let's say we're going to target everybody that's an ABC insurance carrier that meets these requirements, have multi-care or multi-car, married, let's say, under or between certain ages. You export that information, I get a very specific group to speak to. All right. Now, the initial introduction, and follow me here. I'm not trying to go too far, but let's just say the initial hook or the initial introduction to why you're reaching out to them is going to be specific to those things that we just talked about. All right. We want to place you with another insurance company. We thank you for your business. Mention how long they've been in business, should be exportable there. You know, how long they've been a client of yours. You should be able to get that out of your system and embed that somehow so you can work that in. Thanks for being a client of ours for the past 5 years. We shop our clients with regularity to get them the best deal with the best service. And we welcome you the opportunity to serve you again to do this. And we have a new market. It's called whatever, presidential. And we want to have give us the opportunity to briefly discuss, the benefits of moving to that carrier as opposed to the one that you're with now. Now, that's your hook. That's your text message, email, however you're going to be introducing this idea to this specific group. And now let's talk the embedded video where you can speak more directly to them, engage with them like this. Now, what I have found that works very well, that's different than what we've seen here that other people are doing, is that there's going to be parts of the video content that are specific and then much more body of the video that is not. Because what we're going to talk about in this example is the benefits of the new carrier, why they should consider moving from their existing carrier, the process of doing so, how much easier it's going to be on them for doing that. And then, of course, maybe scheduling an appointment or some sort of a phone call to actually complete the transaction. All right. That stuff isn't likely to change for anybody that you're targeting, right? What you're trying to do is talk to them about the offer and why they should do it, and then how to execute. That's not going to change. What's going to change, let's call it a sandwich to make it simple, is talking to them specifically, then getting into the details of the offer, what it is you need them to do, and the benefits, and how to execute. And then at the end of the video, let's say that the bun at the bottom of the sandwich is a personalized thank you for their time. And, to again, bring home the personalized feel. Now, you don't want to have to do this multiple times. This it's not scalable to record individual videos. I don't care if it's 2 minutes long for each individual person. If you export a list of 60, just say 60 clients that meet these criteria, and you do 2-minute videos each, it's going to take you, that's 2 hours, 120 minutes of just video time. Not breakdown and set up and shoot and export and all that. I mean, that takes it even further, but just the actual airtime of the video is going to be in excess of 2 hours. It's painful to do it that way. So there are tools out there, and I've looked at several, and I'm going to mention a few, and then I'm going to talk about the one that I think is the best. And I'm going to show you some of the details here on the screen so you can see it for yourself. I also have a promo code where you can get first month free. For everybody that's watching this, all midday snack guys out there, if you're interested in doing this, at least try it out. I want to share that with you. They're not a sponsor. They're not paying me to do this. I've done this investigative work on my own as a consultant and as an operator, and looked at a lot of the competitors and found that this one was the best for this specific means of doing things. So what you need is something that provides you the ability to record the long-winded stuff that is global to everybody one time, and then have short bits that are personalized that you can record ad hoc. Okay, because it's much easier, faster to deliver a 15-second intro than it is the entire 2-minute script over and over again. So you might have and you try to keep it as short as possible, but let's say you exceed 75 seconds. Let's say call it 90 seconds, a minute and a half of the offer, the benefits, how to execute, and then the exit of the video. All right. That we're going to do one time and reuse it. But we also need a way to record an introduction of the video once they've clicked on it because of what we did earlier to contextualize the text that we had to start off with something that is knowledgeably, recognizably, um, personalized to the individual that we're targeting. All right. So instead of this paper sign that I keep pointing to that I ripped up, it looks something like this. Hi, George. I appreciate your business. Thank you for clicking on the video. I'm going to keep this very brief. I know that you're busy working, and it looks like you're doing a great job there at ABC recruiting staff. But I try to keep in mind your best interests, and we shop our customers on a regular basis. And thank you for your 3 years of doing business with us. So I want to have the opportunity, if I may, to introduce you to this new carrier that we have. We have a great business relationship with them. They focus a lot on service and paying claims in a timely fashion, so you're always safe and protected. But there's also likely a savings for you. So if you can give me a call at your earliest convenience at the information down at the bottom or click the link to schedule an appointment, I would love to go over it. And it take me about 10 minutes to explain to you how this can work and benefit you. All right. Something like that. I didn't write this down. That was off the cuff. So it was a little rougher than you could do if you wrote this down and you script it out. But you include their name, speak to them in a way that's natural. None of this hi Ryan Freeze nonsense. All right. Introduce something that's contextual and specific to them. Speak about that so it's recognizably human. That's another advantage to video when you're talking like this. It's not a mail merge. It's not an Excel export to some sort of Word document that you send out to all your clients in a thank you letter that might have gotten garbled in his last name first, and it's obvious that you did it that way. All right. This is where the value comes from this, where the personalized touch comes in. All right. But you have to have the right tools to be able to make this video sandwich. And so let's talk a little bit about that. I've looked at a product called Bonjoro, spelled Bonjoro. I've looked at a product called Video Ask. I've looked at Warm Welcome. I've looked at and there's a form or fashion I'm going to demonstrate here that I've also done. But what I've landed on is SendSpark. I want to show you this real quick. So SendSpark, they have a couple of different levels, but you have a free offer. All right. So this is for people that are interested in getting their feet wet. It's completely free. You get 30 free videos. That should be plenty for you to at least experiment and get used to the process of how to create these things. You get screen and video recording with absolutely no length limit, although you're going to want to try to keep it tight. But the personalization, pardon me, is manual. It's doable, but it's manual, and there's a lot of integrations, which is very handy when you're talking about dropping it into email, dropping it into your CRM or through LinkedIn and stuff, so you can deliver it to a lot of people quickly. All right. Again, we're going to do the work to identify very specific communication to targets, craft the message in a way that's going to be valuable, and then we're going to push the button on scale where we're going to blast it out so we can hit a lot of people at the same time with a message that makes them feel that we're speaking to them personally, because we took the time to segment them out. But once you're ready, all right, you can upgrade to the Pro, which gives you unlimited videos. You get to embed your logos and colorization, and then automatic video personalization with call to action buttons. Now, this is where the value really comes in. All right, I'm going to go into my account real quick. And oh, by the way, it's only $15 per month. It's an extraordinary value. If you were to pay annually, they even cut it down to $12. All right. So, I mean, it doesn't cost very much for you to get you like actually test it out, see that it works for you. If you don't like it, cut bait. All right. $15, that's fine. But an unlimited supply of videos. All right. You can't go wrong with that. So let's get in here. I'm going to show you a few quick things. I'm not going to give you a full demo, but I just want to go in here and show you just a few things. So I've got this personalized. All right. I've got my information on here. I've got my call to action, which goes to my calendar. And then I've got, you've got your library. These are videos that you've recorded that you might want to send out. You've got your easy, quick share buttons here. You can duplicate that. You've got your analytics. This is going to tell you how many times it's been viewed. I'm going to get into that information a little bit later. Copy the link if you want to embed it into something very quick and easy. You start recording directly here. If you use Chrome, it'll do it directly in the browser. It's not going to work on Safari. I'm not sure about Microsoft stuff. I use Mac only, but Chrome certainly works very quick and easy. Click that button, boom, brings up your camera, whatever it happens to be. All right, let's go into templates. This is where it gets pretty interesting. I've built a template for midday snack invitation. This is what it looks like. So because I'm using the camera for this feed, it's not going to allow me to show it here, but we've got the name, the header, you got a body, a call to action, and in between this would be the player, which isn't being shown here because I can't use the camera simultaneous to the feed. It would be right here. This is the message, the way that it would appear, and it's created as a link. All right, so you can drop the link in anything that you want. They click the link, it basically comes to this landing page, which has been personalized, branded for them from you. If they're interested in proceeding, they click on this to whatever it is your landing next page is. In my case, it's to look at my production schedule for guests to join the show, and shows my availability. They get to choose it from there. That's how I'm using it in this particular example. Okay, very quick, very clean, very easy, with excellent results. All right, so I wanted to go over that very, very quickly. Okay, I'm not going into specific detail about that. It's not a demo, like I said, but that's what SendSpark does. I highly encourage you to do that. Use the promo code midday snack, all one word. You'll see the link down below where I link to that. Again, they're not a sponsor, not official sponsor. I just happen to create that affiliate link so that you can get the discount that's available. If this became valuable to you to check it out, I encourage you to do so. I think it works very, very well. Now, this next part of what I'm going to talk about takes a little bit further. And this is where I've seen the greatest results. And I'm hoping somebody from SendSpark themselves, and I'm going to invite them to see, can either walk me through how to do this through their product, if it's possible. I haven't been able to identify that it is possible. And instead I created something using these tidbit videos in a different way. Let me explain. So now that you've gotten a template and you've targeted these people that are in a very specific segment with customized, personalized content that's going to drive behavior, and it's going to put them into the funnel so that they can become actionable, right? Then part of what I do for everything, and you're going to hear me talk about this often, is measure, analyze, and measure. Now you saw there with that dashboard that I just had up a second ago with SendSpark, they do have some analytics, and it's going to show you what you'd expect: duration, how many times it's been viewed, dates and times and stuff like that. But what I like to do is break it down even further, contextualize it for myself. I want to know what parts of the communication I've sent out have driven the most behavior, especially if I send it to 200 people, 1,000 people. I want to en masse take a look at that data and say, okay, what part of the video seemed to be the most compelling? What part of the message seemed to be the trigger, right? For the most part, everybody's going to be slightly different, but you're going to develop a bit of a heat map when you send it out to a large group of people. You might have convinced yourself that part of the messaging that you put in there is vital and it's going to drive the most activity. And then once you revise it or look at it later, review it, it didn't. That's something you should review, maybe take out for future campaigns, maybe revise even more differently so that it does punch the way that you wanted it to. How else are you going to know this, though? So so it's what you're looking for is how many times did somebody scrub through or view a specific subject or a specific phraseology of your offer. I also want to know how many times somebody watched it individually, because I want to develop something that demonstrates, well, on average, somebody ends up becoming an actionable lead that converts to a transaction. On average, they have to view the material 3 times, 4 times, whatever it happens to be. I want to be able to refine it that deeply. I also want to say that if somebody's watched it at least 3 or 4 times and didn't become a customer like all the others did, that the trends show, That's probably a group they've shown interest that I need to send something else to get them off the ledge, to get them to click the button to start whatever the transaction is or the action that I want them to take. These pieces of information are incredibly important, at least for me, and I've seen it in action. They work dramatically well. A much better approach than just throwing stuff at the wall and saying, "Hi, I've helped other people in your space," and hoping that you're going to come back to me, inform me what it is that you want me to do. That's rotten. This works much better, hands down. Okay. So, SendSpark, if you're watching, if you can speak specific to this, and I welcome any of you to join me as a guest maybe next week to refine this because I find it to be that important, that valuable for our community. I'd love to go through that specific part of your product, but until that time, I want to demonstrate what I've come up with that I'd love to see that SendSpark could do for us. So let's go. I'm going to bring up the screen again. All right. Now, this is what I put together. And they're individual videos. So if you have, in this case, it's a longer pitch. This is a longer sell. It's not a book roll. It's not, contact us if you're interested in changing auto insurance provider, anything like that. What I put this together for was a much lengthier sale. All right. Or offer, but still the process remains the same. So I have personalized this at the top. You've reached this page because of the outbound message I've already sent was interesting enough for you to click to get to this point. Okay. So this isn't going to be that. So this gives a little context about what the video is about to be. It tells you exactly how long the video is going to be before you commit to it. This is important too, in my experience, because if it looks like it's going to be a large commitment before I click on the button, more and more people are unlikely to click it. Okay. If it's too ambiguous and it looks like it could be, well, hell, I don't have 15 minutes to sit through this. I'm not trying to have, a timeshare seminar right now. I've got stuff to do. So make sure that you demonstrate to them how concise it is. Another way that you've shown that you've been thoughtful about them and their time. Okay. So this introduction here is 2 minutes and 13 seconds. I'm not going to play it, but let's just say it's very specific. This is the personalized beginning, the personalized intro to this person, Bethany. Okay. And I talk at the top of this why further that I've reached out to this person, why I think what I'm about to detail is perfect for them and is going to be of great value and for them to go through to the next step. So instead of it being one long video or just one video, complete video, I wanted to break it down so that I can analyze what I just talked about. What seems to be the key, important, actionable items or interest to the individual that I've sent it to. Okay. I want to know what part of the overall video content delivered the most value and created the action that I'm seeking so I can measure it later. So you'll see below that I have this thing that you can choose from. I call it slides, but it's, individual videos. These are the individual chapters, if you will, of a longer video that I broke up into 8 separate videos. All right. So after they've completed watching the first one, let's go to the second one. Now, this information all the way down until here, from 2 through 6, I've still broken it down into individual subjects, but it's reusable. That content I recorded once, no matter who it was that I targeted for this campaign. I didn't record that multiple times. I recorded it and then broke it into separate sections so I could, again, be sure that I could measure. And again, the way that I've got it broken down is shareable. All right. This is shareable from this screen directly or wherever you copy and paste this link. And I can tell how many times it was shared. I can tell how long or how often this has been viewed. Did they watch a particular segment of the video multiple times? How long did they watch it? Did they watch the entirety of it? These types of things that you're not going to be able to do as easily. And again, unless SendSpark can show me otherwise, directly through their product, as awesome as it is. And I'm still recommending it. Don't get me wrong. This was something I had to do on my own and I broke it out differently. So So we go through these slides. All right. And this is a different one here. Predefine your optimal persona, get in front. This is again, specific to this thing, marketing qualified leads. And, I've got a little bit of stuff on here to keep them interested. Again, everything is at 2 minutes or less. So I get them engaged to watch. They go, oh, okay, 2 minutes. That's not too bad. And they go, well, maybe I'll skip this part because I kind of understand what they're trying to do here. Let's talk about our ideal client. Okay. Again, this stuff here it was reusable. I recorded it one time. The intro and now this part, why SendSpark. And this was sent to several other groups. It was not just SendSpark. It could have been Acme Company or whatever. This closing, this 1 minute closing, is personalized to the person that I sent it to. In this case, Bethany of SendSpark. And then the thank you and the closure of the offer, the solicitation. Also at the bottom, this is an interesting part of what SendSpark does is they give you a link personalized to you that allows anyone that you share it to respond or to create or to share with you a video of their own directly through the browser or their smartphone. Very valuable stuff. So if I click that here, you'll see I'm using a different browser, but this asks you, okay, identify who you are, and then you send a video. It says Ryan's requesting a video. That's me on behalf of National Insurers Alliance. That's my brand or our brand. And then, we receive a video that way. And so SendSpark has a two-way street for that purpose. Okay. So this part of it is a great example, I believe, of how to measure the most, get the most out of your personalized video campaigns in a way that is personalized, valuable, effective, ultimately, is what we're looking to be. But at first, I'll reiterate, got to do the work to identify who it is that you're trying to target so you can make sure that the messaging is specific enough to drive activity. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I know that this one went long. This isn't normal. I'm trying to keep it a tight 30, 35 minutes, but I wanted to be very detailed in this one specific to this because it just irks me so much that the value of video is being usurped by lazy action of people just drowning others in just copy paste activity. And it drives me crazy. And I do see some people being fatigued by it and not interested in trying to develop their own video campaign because it looks clumsy when they receive it. It looks like it's a gimmick. It looks like it's hacky, and I can't dispute that. But what I can do is try to share with you these tips and tactics that I've had experience with that have worked very well. So I encourage you again, go to SendSpark. Let's see here, SendSpark.com, I believe it is. Yeah, SendSpark.com. I'll include the link down below so you can click on it and get your free activity there. And so that's all I have for you today. Have a fantastic day. We're getting close to the weekend. Before I go, I want to mention, if you're still here, right, I appreciate you hanging in and listening. I hope this was valuable for you. I want to mention that I have the Insurance Agency Identity video series, which is fundamental baseline video series I put together to help you identify your personality, set expectations for your current and prospective clients, so you can do a very consistent job of delivering, high rates of service across the board, across personnel and locations. I go into that in this video series. I'm offering 25% off right now for the holiday season using the code Kringle25. Just yesterday, I think it was just over 11 insurance agents took the offer. I'm very grateful for that. So don't be left out on this. Save the 25% and go through this video series. Reach out to me afterwards if you'd like to discuss any of that more directly. I'd be very happy to do so. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for hanging in. I'll talk to you later.